got a chart set up here based on multi-time frame HEIKIN ASHI. And then I've also added in multi-time frame delta. I'll show you all of the settings at the end of the video. So there's only two charts here, a 60-minute chart and a 1-minute chart. On the 1-minute chart, I have 3 different time frames of data. I've got my 1-minute chart in the main panel. I've got delta for the 1 minute, and then I have delta for the 5 minute and delta for the 15 minute. And then I've got the state of the HEIKIN ASHI for the 5 minute and the 15 minute down below. So I'm looking for confluence between all 3 time frames with both the HEIKIN ASHI and the delta. So I've got some playback data loaded from this morning. Just going to do some practice trading. I just set up this system on my charts. I'm going to see if I can find some good uses for it. I've got the HEIKIN ASHI trend painting the background and also the candles. I've got it printing the candles white for a bullish HEIKIN ASHI candle and black for a bearish HEIKIN ASHI candle. So we've got a lot of green right out of the gate. Gonna get long. Put my stop under this low. Basically just gonna get out if I see any bearish movement. But we got 5 out of 6 parameters green. 15 minutes starting to turn green. Gonna go long again. Leave my stop below the low of this candle. Gonna move my take profit down just right under the pre-market center there. I've got VWAP up here. I've changed the VWAP color to dark red and dark green so it shows up. If I left it red, it would be invisible with this red background. I do love a good VWAP bounce. This is a very big move. Would expect some retracement, some hold up at VWAP. There's VWAP. Gonna go short. Can put my stop right above the pre-market high. Now we are green across the board, but I'm just going for a little bounce right off of VWAP. Can move my stop down here. Got 3 red panels now. There we are, we got another target hit. 3 for 3 and we're only 3 minutes in. Could just call it a day right there. Very streamlined, easy to focus on just one chart. Then I've got my higher time frame over here if I want the bigger picture. We're still green on the HEIKIN ASHI on all 3 time frames. 15 minute, 5 minute, and 1 minute. So after we got that retracement to the pre-market center, we just popped up over 25 points. On the higher time frame, I'm not really looking to get long unless perhaps we break above this recent high around 360. We had a pretty nice down move overnight. Got delta negative across the board here. So those are some of the things that I'd be looking for trading this system, looking for confluence between all 3 different time frames. It's the same multi-time frame HEIKIN ASHI setup that I did a video on a while back, except I've added delta in and added a new fancy color scheme. So first things first, in my data series, I've got a 1 minute NASDAQ. I've also got a 5 minute and a 15 minute. All 3 data series need to be loaded onto the chart. And then for the indicator settings, I've got the ultimate VWAP on the chart. I've changed the up brush and the down brush for the session VWAP to green and dark red. I've got the ultimate delta for the 1 minute. I've got it for the 5 minute, and I've got it for the 15 minute. 3 separate instances, all the same settings. I've got level 1 on. Level 1 is 0. For all the different levels, I have lime green and red. For the neutrals, I have transparent. I've got show background levels activated, 100% opacity. For the histogram, everything is transparent. And these are the same settings for all 3 instances of the ultimate delta. And I've changed the input series to the NQ 5 minute for this instance and the NQ 15 minute for this instance. I also have 3 instances of the MMT Ultimate HEIKIN ASHI. The only feature on the Ultimate HEIKIN ASHI that I am using is the HEIKIN ASHI trend. Default settings, I've got the bars and the outline checked on with white for the up brush and black for the down brush. I've also got the trend background activated at 100% opacity, and this is set to calculate on each tick, same as the ultimate delta. That way it's coming through live in real time on each tick in between the candles. I've also got the key levels on the chart and the 20 and the 250 SMA. So those are the settings, and that's how I would trade it. So I just logged into the live markets during the Asian session. Going to test this system out in the live markets. I got into a short back here. We had red HEIKIN ASHI on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. We had some closes below the 20 SMA. Delta was negative on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. And so far we've popped down over 20 points from there. Just got into another short. We were red on the higher time frames on the HEIKIN ASHI. The 1 minute HEIKIN ASHI started turning red. We started pulling below the 20 SMA. Got into another short there. It's getting close to the New York Open. Looks like the 8:30 news moved the markets to the upside pretty well. HEIKIN ASHI was green for a long time. We finally closed below the 20 SMA here. HEIKIN ASHI was red. Just pulled back to VWAP. Bounced right off of the VWAP. Up over 20 points. Just got into a short. We rejected pretty hard and fast. Everything was turning red. When we started pushing below VWAP, got into a short looking to test yesterday's close. We just popped down 30 points below VWAP. After pushing below VWAP, we've just popped down 30 points. Got into a little long once we broke out above this area that we were chopping around in after the news. Right above the London Open. Popped up over 10 points. I can trade on just about any chart. I like testing out new ideas, but I always come back to my original setup, the basic core setup that I've been using for many, many years. But everyone's going to have a different personal preference, so I like sharing all the different ideas. I just took a bounce trade short off of the pivot point. We just bounced off of the pivot point pretty much to the tick. Bounced down over 20 points now. I just got into a short. We pulled up to a previous day VWAP close, this blue dashed line. Started rejecting. HEIKIN ASHI went red. Had some decent delta coming in. Was looking for a pullback to the 20 SMA, which we just got. HEIKIN ASHI was green that whole move up after the breakout here. And then where did we stop? Previous day VWAP close. Great key level to have on your chart. It's part of the MMT Ultimate VWAP indicator. We got 15 minutes until 10:30. Might be interested in a long, as long as we stay above the 250 SMA. Getting a nice bounce off the pivot point, up 20 points. We just pulled back to the high of the 15-minute opening range. Rejected off that area. Got a nice 30-point bounce up so far. It's 10:30, just got into another long. We pulled back to this 15-minute high. I got long. It's popped up over 20 points. Up almost $300 per account. Gonna call it a day there. So this is an overview of this chart setup with the price action from this morning's New York Open. I traded this setup for the first 10 minutes or so, and then I went back to my standard workspace. But I wanted to show you what the full first hour of the New York Open looked like on this chart. Right out of the gate, we turned green. We started breaking above the 20 SMA here. I almost got into a long here. Just wasn't feeling the longs yet. Wanted to see how the market played out. We started reversing pretty hard to the downside. My first trade of the morning was right here when we started pushing below VWAP. HEIKIN ASHI was red. Delta was red across the board. 5-minute HEIKIN ASHI was red. I was looking for a test of yesterday's close down here. We ended up dropping about 40 points below VWAP. So the first 15 minutes or so was all about being patient. There was not really that many good trading opportunities. Here we got the HEIKIN ASHI change. So I might be looking for a break above the high of this candle. Never got the break. No trade. Here we got the HEIKIN ASHI turning red. We've been whipping back and forth for the past 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to want to see it clear the next key level, or possibly these recent lows. We do not break through the key level here. So no trade for me. Here we got the HEIKIN ASHI turning green. Got green delta on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. No major key levels in the way. Could take a break long from the high of this candle. We do pop up about 25 points. HEIKIN ASHI turns red, but look at this candle. Huge bottom wick. Very bullish candle. Still got this key level on the way to break. Delta is green on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. We never break lower than this key level, so no trade for me there. Green HEIKIN ASHI. I might be looking for a break above the high of this candle. We never get it. Red HEIKIN ASHI. I might be looking for a break below this key level. We have barely just enough room to come down to this next key level, or I might want to wait for a break of this key level that I've been waiting for the past 10 minutes. Either way, we never break lower, no trade. HEIKIN ASHI turns green. We got green delta on the 1 and the 5. HEIKIN ASHI on the 5 minute is green. So I'd be looking for a break above the high of this candle, or this previous high, or this previous high. Any one of those that you decided to take worked out. We did not have any key levels in the way to the upside. Until here we had the high of the 15-minute range, and then the high of the pre-market. Once we had a nice close above that, we still had enough room for a scalp up to the pivot point. I took a bounce trade short off of the pivot point. We bounced down 30 points right to the pre-market high. We wicked off of the pre-market high. HEIKIN ASHI stayed green this whole time. We've got green on all time frames. We came right up to this previous day VWAP close. Then we get our first red HEIKIN ASHI candle. Here we have a close below the 20 SMA. Delta's red across the board. Might be looking for a test of the pivot point. Although being a little sketched out about this huge move to the upside. Might want some more confirmation before I take a short, especially when I see a few wicking candles off the pivot. However, when we get a nice close below the pivot point, we've got red almost across the board. Might be looking to test these next key levels. We end up bouncing right off of the anchor VWAP, pretty much to the tick, bouncing up 40 points to the 20 SMA. I've got the anchor VWAP set to 8:30 a.m. just because we had a very big move after the news at 8:30. So I anchored the VWAP to 8:30. And then here, just a little bit before 10:30, we pulled right back to the anchor VWAP, had a nice bounce up. See back here, this is the move I was talking about. When I logged in around 9:30, saw this huge move to the upside right at 8:30 after the news. So there's the anchor of the VWAP. You can see it caught up to the session VWAP. So we had some extra confluence right there, had a nice rejection off of that level. So that's how I'd be looking to trade this very colorful HEIKIN ASHI and Delta based setup. There are links to all the indicators in the description, and anyone that's out there using code MonkeyMan is absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for the support. Best of luck in your trading. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.